I'd like to thank all who have helped in any way with our festival. It's been very good so far. And the rain has really held off for the most part during it, which is wonderful. One of the great gifts of this festival is a cupcake. You can't see it here, but a wonderful family has made cupcakes and put my face on it. Who wants to buy this is my question. I'd be more scared than anything. But you might think, oh, he's such a nice guy. I'll put his face on a cupcake. And I am, a lot of times, a nice person. Although not nice enough to have, you might say, oh, I'll bite his head off, you know? And you can do that, which is very nice. So thank you so much for the family. We had to cut the prices in half, though, because no one was buying them. I'm just joking. No, but you might think, oh, he's a nice guy. But sometimes I can just be nasty. Look on my head. I cut my head. And you can see it because I have no hair. But I threw something away in the trash. And I went to reach up and grab it to pick it out because I didn't want to throw it out. But the copy machine was over it. And one of the doors was open. And it had like sharp things on the bottom. And I hit my head and it scraped it and, you know, all of it. It looked like, remember that old show, Rescue 911? I should have been one of the test cases on that thing because it was all coming out everywhere. And I was stomping around saying all kinds of things. I went up to poor Carol, our parish manager, and I demanded, I was serious, I demanded an investigation as to who left the copier door open. And I was and you know, they were kind of very caring, but also laughing at me because they realized that I was kind of being, well, whatever. Whatever, they saw through kind of the storm, and the storm passed, just like right now. The storm passed, the sun's out, everything's great. I was joking around right after, but maybe 3 days later. But I can be, sometimes a storm of rage can come over, and I can get angry. But thanks be to God that the staff kind of saw right through it, and they saw it for what it was. Well, brothers and sisters, a lot of times we can endure the rage of the world, and we accept it. We can't see it for what it is. We see it as something that is closing in on us, that is oppressing us. How many times have I heard, Father, the world the way it is, we're never going to escape. It's not going to get better. Father, the world is crushing in on us. Father, where is God? What is going on? And it can range in any way from the culture and the way it attacks what we believe, or politics, or our neighbors, or our family. And in every way, everything feels just suffocating. And we feel that there's no escape. We can't see it for what it is. But brothers and sisters, the words in the gospel, if you have felt that way or you feel that way, the words in the gospel today are the freedom. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in Gehenna. Brothers and sisters, these things that attack us, they attack our body, yes. They can't get to our soul unless we allow it. These pressures from the outside, they are not real in the sense of they are not the ones who can get to our soul. They can't tear us down. Brothers and sisters, let us place our faith in the one, the only one who has come to rescue our soul. All those other things come to rescue our body. He came to rescue our body and our soul. And so, brothers and sisters, when we say, it says fear the one, it doesn't mean fear the one like we fear the world. The world can attack us, yes. But the one who has come to save us brings us a completely different remedy. That is why in the second reading, St. Paul says, the transgressions that we have, the sin, the answer is not more sin, it is the remedy to sin. That's his life. He comes differently. He comes to save us. He comes with freedom, not with the oppression of the world, but with freedom. I'll give you an example. St. Maximilian Kolbe, who was a saint who lived in the early 1900s, he was shoved into a concentration camp because he was a priest. And there was a prisoner who escaped, and the prisoner escaped, 3 prisoners escaped, and because of that, the rest of the camp was punished. So they picked 10 men to go to what was called a starvation bunker. And they picked 10 men. And St. Maximilian Kolbe, who was a priest, was not one of the 10, but he stood out and said, I'm going to take the place of this person, one of the men, who was crying because he was worried about his wife and his family. So they allowed the switch to happen. And Maximilian Kolbe, who lived longer than the rest of the men, who was probably the weakest of all of them, but he lived longest in this starvation chamber, every night sang psalms to his God, sang songs joyfully, even though he knew the result. Even though he knew that those men were going to take his life, but they weren't going to take his soul. And he knew that, he lived it. And he died with that. Yes, his body was taken, but his soul was not. And because of that, his soul and his body rejoice in heaven. And so, brothers and sisters, let us too rejoice, not in the ones who can take our bodies. The world can threaten us with all kinds of things, but they can't threaten our soul because they have not come to save it. He has. And so that's why you're here tonight, to refresh your soul and in turn refresh your bodies. Because the only one who has come to save us, body and soul, rescues here tonight. The world can only threaten and not rescue your body. He can do both. That is why it is with great joy we are here, to be rescued by him and not to succumb to the dangers of the world, but to the freedom of the one who gives us life eternal. Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever.